Yeah, we are all welcome, guys. It has not been easy. The network, and I've been trying to fix up the network. So I'm really was right now. So I just believe that the network will be stable for we to start the class proper. So just I'm still trying to put the network in good order now. So you guys should just give me some few minutes. Here we are already. So you guys shortly. I'm still trying to send some message in case the previous link again. So I'm trying to send link to the groups. Just guys. Yeah, welcome you guys once again to this wonderful class. It's not be easy to fix up the internet connection. I, I believe that we are fully on now. So we have somehow exhausted just trying to make sure that the internet is working. So it's over here and it's been raining this morning, and as a result the network today has been very bad. So I believe that we God will give us a good connection so that we're able to the class for today. So welcome again. So we are still expecting all that because I'm actually trying to send a new link now in case the previous one I gave is no longer valid. and to fix the network so that we can uh, actually start the training proper. So, and today, as you can see, we actually have our theme today, which is the disease. We talk about the support and resistance level. We're going to talk about the Japanese candlesticks and also the moving average. So that's if time permits us. So I welcome you guys once again to the training as usual. So this training, I promise everyone that it's going to be a wonderful one. I will enjoy it, and I'm really appreciating you guys for the patient network issue. So now we should get started. And the first one we going to level struggling to identify these key levels in the charts. So now, when they ask what is actually present, so Hello, welcome back, guys. So the network has been really frustrating. I'm sweating as I'm talking to you guys, just trying to make sure that the things is in order. So as we were saying before, the network actually cut off. Then you use the channel, the trade line, and also when the market is moving sideways. It means when it's ranging. So let's look at an example of how you can support and resist using the zigzag pattern. Because sometimes the market actually move on the zigzag. It's moving zigzag in an uptrend or moving zigzag in a downtrend. So let's look example of when a market is actually moving an uptrend, which also have support and resistance in a zigzag pattern. So here is a typical pattern of how you can use a support and resistance. So as we can see this pattern of zigzag. So a lot of pairs most time they form this pattern when they're actually going an uptrend or when they are on most time in 5 days, Monday to Friday. So when a market possibly only lasts for 3 days before it's trade sideways, it means that if you want to enter a trade on a zigzag pattern, maybe for 2 days, the third day you can see trade, but once the third day close, so the fourth day expect that market to actually range. So I just want to give this information. So you see some trend Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they form an uptrend. The Thursday they start ranging, which is trading sideways, and the no still clear direction when they trying to form a downtrend, which is a reversal. So it's actually making it when the market moves up and then pull back. So now the highest point reached before it pulled back is now the resistance. So you can see this is the resistance one. Now when it now move down, the lowest point picks back up, was able to pick up and move above the previous. So it means that it has formed resistance 2. Now it's moving down to the lowest point before it moved and become the second resistance before it move above the previous resistance to form another resistance 3. Note this resistance 1 can be termed as higher high. So this is a higher high one. Higher high, it means that the previous the current high is above the previous high. So you can name it higher high, higher high, higher high. So when the market is making a higher high, a zigzag pattern, higher high. So the previous high is lower than the current high. So we call it higher high, higher high, higher high. So now the support zone will now be referred to as the higher low. So the first, the support and next is making a higher low, higher low, higher low. So you're making a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. That's when the norm. Now, where you know that there will be a reversal or a break of food, if for any reason in next or after the support, the next candle that is forming will the best way is for you to close your trade, because at that point the market may not actually go down directly, but it will start ranging. So this is just the tiny line I just put. So it may get to the level of that previous support resistance, so the market start coming down. So you watch for a sideways movement before the next direction. So at that moment, you're able to try and exit your trade. It's a possibility of the market range. So you can look at this example in USD card. So this week USD card, this week there was such behavior, I think from Monday. So from the market started ranging before the eventual falling of euro against the card. So that is how you're able to follow some peers. So you need, maybe you should have a ZZ indicator, which is a custom one, and then you're able to give you accurate uh, ZZ pattern lines. So this just typical example of ZZ in a form of when a market is forming an uptrend. So the opposite of it is when the market is forming a downtrend. So you also form a downtrend. We have a lower low, a higher lower, lower high, and higher low. So the market will coming down on the ZZ. So you watch it for 3 days if you're able to enter on time. So the only time you exit, if you're able to spot the entry on time, is when you see there is a break of rule. If it's an uptrend, so the break of rule will happen when the after the support, the market is unable to still close candle above the previous higher high, which is the resistance and when it come down, it now come down in the level that the base currency. So it may continue the on trend. And if there's a news that favor the quote currency, so a downward continuation may start from there. That is if the market was actually doing an uptrend. So if it is doing a downtrend, so it's going to do this zigzag pattern. So next we go is we look at testing the support and resistance. So here is just another example of support and resistance. Common chart now, check weekly, 4 hours, weekly, and daily. So most of those exact pattern. So in this pattern, you will be able to know that this particular market is already at a support zone. So what do you do when market is already at the support zone? You buy, because no matter how you see that selling is rather selling at that support zone, no matter how the movement may be very risky, because that candle may be a shadow candle at a resistance. It may break below that resistance. The market will continue going down, but it will end up being a shadow candle, as you can see on this chart. So the market will actually break through, so and end up pulling back the price and finish above the support zone, then have an uptrend, a pullback up. So it depends on the time frame actually entry, buying entry, or a shorter one. So it depends on the time frame. Let's appear broken once, so you're able to know, is this support actually being broken or not? And we all know that the number of times that a market fail to bring support make that support. If a market has tested the support zone twice, so we're able to have confidence that once the price get to that support zone, there's possibility of it bounce up. So this is all about this. So you should be able to take note of this particular chart. So after that, you discuss, you choose the particular what you want. Once you open the chart, what are the things that are of your own side that once you see this, you have rest assurance that you have tested it and it will definitely go as you planned, if not 100%. To 95 accuracy. So that have previous neutrality, the shadow. So these shadow candles, you cannot find them in line chart. So we've discussed about line chart. We've discussed about the candlestick. Candlestick we have high and low, and the open and the close. So in the case of the line chart, it only pick the closing price. So it draw a line from the previous closing price to the current closing price. So that is how. So with that, there is no way you will be able to see all these candle that the candlestick produce when you are using a line chart. So using a line chart make you able to track point max. I do the practice sometimes that maybe you use a weekly to draw the major source, and whenever you see a price approaching those points, you already know what the market is saying. So, say for example, you open a weekly chart, you you, all those support which where you have now the color. Now, whenever a price is approaching that line, you already know which line is approaching. Is it a weekly support or a resistance? So that is how sometimes you draw your stance and support. Use the line chart area, the proper area for you to set without adding those shadow candles which stick produce. So you can see these are just the. So if you are using a line chart will place this line exactly this place. But on this, you may be seeing two candles, so you may end up placing a wrong set of short by proper view of the main area where action was up, become another support. So those are how you use draw your support and resistance. So whenever it market support or resistance, be always mindful and be patient to for options by entering buy when market is already has resistance. The enter sell already. Sometimes the market has sell, sometimes ends on being a shadow candle, and the price will flows the support, or when is a resistance, it will end up still closing below the resistance, and you find sometimes a pin bar at that time. So now, some other interesting things about support and resistance is that when the price passes through resistance, that resistance could potentially do what become a support. So we are going to, as we show other chart, I will explain that to you. That sometimes if the support, the resistance has been successfully broken. So for you to be sure that that resistance has been broken, that's what we talk about patience. So you're able to wait. because definitely the market will return if it's not during a news period when there are some high news that can send the market flying up. So the market will definitely come to test that resistance. So if it's unable to break through that resistance to hit the previous support, it has make that point as a support. So it means that the previous return to a support. So let me go back to this. So here was what happened. It's having break the support again. I was able to successfully break and come down. So you can see what happened within this period and this circle are almost similar. So before I now went to this, you can see there was always a respect whenever the price get to the was already 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this chart that several times it has tested it almost 3 times. It was unable to bring and has for the on how strong support. So we have my doctor major. So in my distance tested you can see this chart. So that sometimes available and cannot qualify that as a major resistance because the next market moving up or down, moving up, see, so you are picking up, it was not the break how you so sorry for the break. As I've said, the network is not stable right now. So I'm still trying to make sure that we complete. So now we are how do trade resistance. You can see some of the interesting places where you can place your entry. So on this first, to any breaking or support zone and move to like just where we from the so from all the share of the book, then you can use your you know, and second one just simple. So you can see this trend line how to done. This is we're going to discuss about the trend line and this is very one. So once a price hits it, you shut it down. Plus, it's just you make sure it's just another one is so here's an example. So this is another concept. Break load we have talked about patient and support resistance. So this second Welcome back, guys. This network is giving me shit. Seriously. So where we are, so there's very trend line to follow support carries. So I want to say that and ensure that your is properly draw accurately results if the support the market risk you take everything for it once it at 40 and all that. So you once the 40 um, Guys, the network as you see. So let me just try and complete the class and see how it goes. So these are an uptrend. The types you have the uptrend, higher, low. We have the downtrend, the lower, high. So here is the types of trends. As you can see here, how the market has been moving. This was in an uptrend. So using the uh, trend line as a support for you to make an entry. So whenever the uh, market touches the support, you touches the trend line, you make a buy entry. So here is uh, the downtrend. So the uptrend continue here again. So this is for this. Let me just try and run through it. If possible, we can be able to write why I'm running through it. So another one is the channels. So you can also trade two channels in your to identify your support and resistance on when to actually enter the trade. Channel are just another tools, technical which can also be used to determine good place to buy or to sell. So both the top and the bottoms of the channel represent potential area of support and also resistance. So as you can see on this chart, how you're able to set your uh, trend channels for you to make a short trade for every trend line that you believe, either the up one or the lower one. So we have the ascending channels and we have descending channel and we have the horizontal channel. So another word for horizontal channel is when market is actually trading sideways, ranging. Trading sideways, ranging, you call it also call it horizontal channels, as you can see at the right hand of the chart. So this is the horizontal channel. We have the descending channels, we have the ascending channel. So it's just ability for you to actually draw these channels that will give you a a good result through an accurate lines that you are able to draw using the channels. But sometimes markets actually move through those channels. We have move through those channels when it's moving an uptrend. You move through those channels when it's forming a downtrend. So you use this to also identify your support and resistance when you are trading forex. So now, how to plot your channels lines. So I've just stated it here so that it will be easier for you to read through and do the practice yourself. So to create an up, that's the ascending channel, simply draw a parallel line at the same angle as uptrend line and then move that line to position where it touches the next recent peak. The next recent peak. So we all know what we mean by the next. That's the next high. The next high when the market has gone up before it returns. So those are the points that you place it. So to guide how you should, when you should buy, when you should exit, or when you should close and order. So this should be done creating this. So when the pricing hit, so it hits up, down, it hits down, you buy up, it hits. So whenever it touches the line, it hits down. So you must set it using the previous lines for you to able to get how that market will be moving. And so this is how you actually uh, trade when you are using a channel line to trade. So we move to candlestick, Japanese candlestick. So we have a lot to cover here, but I don't know. I just believe the hope the network permits us so that we're able to explain a little about this. So as you can see, the history of Japanese candles. So Japanese candlestick that you actually hear is just all about price action. So they are kind of you watching some particular candlestick formation, how those candlestick finish, how the previous candlestick finish that determine the current movement of the market. How the previous candle can determine the current candles movement. What how the previous candle finish can determine what will be the current candlestick. So that's all about Japanese candlestick. So we go details and can be used for any time frame, whether it's one day and 1 hour, 30 minutes, wherever you want to use Japanese candlestick. All you need to do is just to understand the price action. They are used to describe the price action during the given time frame. Can you hear that? So it's just all about time price action. Price action is all about Japanese candlestick. Are formed using close, open, high, low, and close of the close period. So that is little we talk now about Japanese candlesticks. So now this is typical example of Japanese candlestick. So Japanese candlestick, though like me, I change the color. So I don't use white background most time. I can change the white background. I can change the black to any other color. But I already know that this is a bullish and this is a bearish. So those are the names that you can also use to qualify those up candles and the down candles. So now the best way to do it is by use this picture. It's close above. Now it means when the price close above the previous closing price, so it become a white candle. It means it's a bullish. So finish it above the previous close closing price. Finish it above the previous closing price makes things a bullish candle. So you can continue forming like this. For another one form and finish above the previous closing price, it's make a bullish. When it finish below the opening price, it's a a bearish candle, which also indicates the black. So as you can see the body, you can see the real body, the upper shadow, as I've said before, the shadow candles in candle that can deceive traders. This is the main body. This is where the price actually finish. Now it's open here and finish and close, open above, close below. So this is how the typical example of candlestick body as regards to Japanese candlesticks. So now we go into how do you actually read what meaning to these candles, because you know we are talking about now price action. So we are not talking about support and resistance. We are not talking about a line chart. We are not we are not talking about support and resistance. We are not talking about other ways of trading. So we are talking about the candle itself, which has to do with price action. So what those candle means when a candle finish in a particular form, what is it actually telling you? So that's what we are talking about now, the price action. What a candle is telling you. Every candle that finish has a meaning. It has interpretation. So that's what the Japanese candlesticks is actually all about. That if this candle finish this way, this is what it's actually telling you about the market. So now let's go there. So we talk about, you see candle finish in a very strong bullish or in a very strong bearish, which represent the white and the black. So when a candle finish in a very strong bullish, so it simply means that it's a long body, indicates a long buyer, strong buyer or strong sellers. So that's what it simply when you have a very strong bullish candle or a bearish candle. So the longer the body is, the more intense the buyer or seller pressure. So it's just a pressure from either the buyers or the seller. So sometimes the buyers will be in control, sometimes the seller will be in control. So when you know, how you know that the sellers or the buyer are totally in control is determined by how strong, how long that candlestick is. So you see these two examples. This means that the buyers, if you finish in a very strong bullish, it means that the buyer were totally in control. There were no any kind of being having kind of dragging the market. So the buyers were in control. The seller could not have their ways in the market. So this means that either the buyer or seller were stronger and took control. So that's what a strong bullish candle or a strong bearish candle that finished the very long stick, a body rather actually mean. So now what does the short body implies? Because those short bodies sometimes you find them, those period that you find them, where period you actually find these short body candles. Maybe like tomorrow, you watch out for these short candles after the closing of London session, because tomorrow is weekend. So by the time it's getting to GMT, you see that you start seeing a weaker candle, a short candles, or when the London session have already closed, even ordinary days, that is left with just only one session, which is a short session. So we've said it earlier that when two sessions overlaps, see is likely to form because news traders from both sessions are in the market. Immediately one session pull out. Mostly when London session pull out, it's left with the UK session. So the market starts to be sluggish. You start seeing short body candles. It means that the activity during that period is very, very low. Now, I've said it that bullish mean buyers and bearish mean sellers. So the white represents bullish, while the black represents a bearish candle. And long black shows strong seller, while the white show a strong buyer. So you should be able to interpret those candles on their own when you see them. The short ones simply means that imply very little buyer or sell activities are going on. So sometimes when you see this candle be more candle bullish, small candle bearish, small candle bullish, you have to be very careful. And if you see a very strong candle begin to emerge. So now the next one we go to the mysteries of the shadows, as you can see. So when a candle actually finish this way, we implied something in the market. So if a Japanese candle has a long upper shadow and a short lower shadow, this means that the buyer reflex muscle had bid higher. So now we can see this example that this market was actually going down. So instantly the buyers see that they have the power to take control of the market. So they took over the market and it ended up the market the price finishing on a bullish candle, a bullish candle rather. So now, but one reason or the other, buyers came in is back down to end the session back near its open price. So this is what I found. So the buyers actually took over, but for some reason, maybe there are political news, there are some news that just came, and the buyers were unable to hold on to the market and they lose control to the seller. You see this ending on a bearish candles. But if the market, so now this is just to wait, this is a long upper shadow. It means that the seller, the buyers were actually initially in control, but the seller took over the market. So now when you now have a long lower candle, it means that the seller were actually in control at the initial stage, but the buyers later took over the market. So these two candles simplify something. So check weekly charts, check monthly, weekly charts, and daily charts. Wherever you see these two candles after an extended fall or an extended uptrend, an extended up movement or an extended down movement, you see these two candles, you are expecting something to happen. Likely there should be a reversal, an extended movement before any of these two appear. It means that the buyers or the seller have taken over the market and a reversal is so what is this kind of candle. So let's go to interpret it. Some people decide we are not in good position before these candles appears. So those are the things all about the long shadows. So now the next one we talk about the pattern themselves. We have the pinning tops. You can see the pinning tops. So this is another example you can also learn to read whenever you see this form of a candle or appears on the chart. Maybe you are already trading or you are about to take a trade. So you can read this candle and know when you think the market will go. So now a Japanese candlestick with a long upper shadow or long real body are called the see the size of the lower shadow are almost the same thing. So the color of the real body is not very important. This actually form. So these candles, most time you see them along with these short candles during about to close. When one session has already left, is left with one session, or one session is about to kickstart. So you see this thing mostly after London session have closed. You can see this candle or during those are the period that you can actually see this kind of candles and the short candles after closing session of a London session most times, and so you see this kind of a candle. So what this kind of value is doing is that so if during a down may usually mean that they are not sellers possible reverse in direction will occur. So you know what it means. So also when there is an extended downtrend, an extended market has been falling down, falling down, it get to a stage a pinning top just appear. So once a penny top form, so it means that the buyers are losing strength. The buyers are no longer in the market. Most traders have already taken their profit. So what is simply saying that likely the market will reverse to the other side. So the same thing happen when there is an extended uptrend and the pinning top also show up. So it means that there's possibility of a reversal at that point. So it depends. There must be an extended fall or an extended going up before you can rely on this to make a judgment. But there's other strategy I use with this. Because whenever I see it in a particular period of time, I know 90% what will happen. Once that kind of thing happen, I know throughout the day something will happen based on my observation, and it has been working wonderfully. So another thing we talk things are just what gives sign of market reversal in forex trading. So those is what Japanese candles is all about. I actually want to interpret to you. Every candle that's formed has interpretation. Not only when it formed, when it has finished. Once it finish, it has interpretation. So there's possibility of he going to this way once he finish this way. So the way the previous candle finish can determine how the current candle will finish. That's what Japanese candlestick is actually to interpret different formation of candlestick, which all are how candlestick actually behave based on the price action. Have the same open and have the same open price, and at least their body are extremely short. So I think most of us have been seeing this in our chart. Even if you open a chart now, you are still going to see this kind of candlestick. So it's simply called doji. So just a decision or a strong for stop position between the seller and the buyer. So the buyers and sellers are fighting seriously. So it means that nobody is able to win the battle, because a buyer must give way for the seller for the market to go down, while seller must give room for the buyer for the market to go up. In a situation where two of them have equal strength, so you definitely have something like a doji to be what the candle will form. So now it now also depends on the particular area that the doji form that will determine if you can able to have an entry on that using the candle of doji. Neither seller were unable to gain control, and the results are essentially draw. It's just like a draw situation as I said. No, when the doji form on your chart, you must pay attention to the preceding candle. So this doji, this pinning top and those small candles and the long shadow candles. So these last three candles I've actually discussed, three of them you have to pay serious attention. So begin to look at your chart. Wherever this thing form finish, what's the next candle? How did it finish? So there are some indicators you just need to let go so that you're able to see and see your candles how they actually finish. So that is all price deals with Japanese candlestick. So how you be able to interpret them. So you can only interpret them when you have a clean chart that are not being littered with charts, some indicators that will not allow you to see the direction properly. So this is how it forms. So you pay attention when I finish. So especially you are also talking about extended movements, uptrend and up and downtrend. You can rely on them. Can rely on the long shadows on weekly, daily, on monthly, on 1 hour. Depends on the kind of traders you are. So the dojo also serve as for a possible reversal also. To trade see to talk, this has been a white candle which is a bullish candle. If an doji form after a series of candlestick with long hollow bodies like white, the signal the buyers are being exhausted and weakened. So what happens when the buyers that give strength that produce a strong long bullish candle now produce an doji? So it simply means that losing strength. So when buyers lose strength, what happens? The seller take over. So when seller take over, what happens? They send down. So always watch out for this and the area that he actually finished. So in order for a price to continue rising, buyers are needed, but they are not anymore near. So they no more buyer on this candle to push the price up and then get their shape and are looking to come in and drive the market down. So this is all about doji. So the next one this is the bearish one. The same thing is opposite of it. Market coming down, forming a candles, unable to form another one. The form doji. It simply means that the market will go up. So this candlesticks Japanese candlestick, if you're able to understand it very well, believe me, because even if you open your chart now, you definitely see this I've explained to you, and you're able to try and with them and begin to make profit with your trade. Look at this. So this is what we are also talking about now. Other types of candles, Japanese candles pattern. We have the hammer and the handyman. So the hammer and the handyman do other examples. So we talk about the single candlestick pattern. We have the dual candlestick pattern and the triple candlestick pattern. But fortunately, we'll not be able to treat all this today. So I'm able to try to give some example of the single candle pattern, which is the hammer and the handyman, are typical examples of single candlestick pattern. So this is all about an extended movement. So you can see, so this typical example on extended movement, you can take the example from this side. This you see it maybe on a weekly chart, you're able to know what it means and where you think the market is on the Japanese candlestick. So others are you can see other ones that we Fortunately, we will not be able to treat them today, so I believe that we will still schedule a time for this, and together with the moving average, the remaining think on based on Japanese. So I think we try my possible best to cover this moving average, but I'm unable to cover it rather and also the Fibonacci. And I will try and still touch on this, talk more on these three other three types of other three types of candle pattern use with your trade. So and what I've said now, let me repeat myself again. I will still find time for lecture candle patterns, moving average, and Fibonacci. How you can use a moving average. Another good interesting thing that we also tools that I will talk is this. Let me talk about this moving average. Moving average is another wonderful trend line that you can also use to trade. Is you in forex trading. So that's for that. I will discuss that later in a nearer time, maybe next tomorrow. But tomorrow we properly will be the seventh day for the training. So we already have. Sorry, guys, lost. So welcome you back. So as I've said, tomorrow we're going to is going to be the D7, and that D7 I will talk about the management, risk management. So what how you able to trade your account very well with lower risk, and also we talk about what you already should know about leverage. What should know your pips, how do you calculate your is margin all about? What is PIP all about? What is level? All these things. How do you do calculation? So we are going to treat those ones in a calculation way, so that before you enter a trade, you already know what one PIP is for you, what you are going to get, lot size, what really the advantage and disadvantage of smaller or higher lot size, the advantage and disadvantage of trading with lower deposit or a higher deposit, because trading depends on what you determine your lot size. Because some of us, maybe you deposit on $200, $100, and you are using a higher lot size. So tomorrow I will be able to explain to you what loss size you should use when you have $1,000 in your account, what loss size you should use when you have $5,000 in your account. So with the explanation, you also be able to understand this is the loss size that is appropriate for my account. So we're going to treat that tomorrow. But maybe next tomorrow, if time permits us and the network, because it's been frustrating for me, because I'll be trying. I've tried my possible best before this thing able to come up this moment. So you can see I've sent another link, because the former one I all of a sudden thing was not coming up again. So thought we are able to use hookup with this. So tomorrow the class is going coming to a close. So some of us are interested, so you can contact me for the certificate. So as we still continue the training. So the training for these 7 days may end tomorrow, but definitely Grand Capital keep organizing more training. So we keep giving training, and also the area that we've not covered before. So those area we are still going to cover them. So we it's a continuous thing. So I thank every one of you for hooking up. So this is what we have discussed today. For those that are just joining, have lost connection in the course of this class. So let me just show through all we actually talked today. This for those who lost connection in the course of the class that could not follow up. This is all we actually covered today. I believe what we covered today was wonderful. With this, I strongly believe that if you are able to practice this, you will have improvements in your trading activities. So this is all we able to treat today. So by God grace, tomorrow we have another wonderful class tomorrow. God willing and everything equal. So we just believe that tomorrow will be wonderful. So you all see how you can trade using Zizard for your support and resistance. So example, you can check it on Euro card, JPY, Euro card, USD card this week from Monday till Wednesday. So the formation was intact. So before there were some changes towards the evening of yesterday and today. So you must able to understand those what support and resistance you want to use. Are you going with Zigzag, the sideways? Are you using the trend line? Are you using the channels? So those are all the minor, the support, resistance. How do you identify them? So this is typical chart. So are you able to draw and be waiting for the market for you to enter? So this possible ways that you can enter trade. So I've discussed this that may return back and test the support line for second time before any possible moving up, and then you make I said a long trade. Once he's able to return back and reject and bounce off that support line again. Same thing happen when it's not trend and he hits back twice a particular uh, resistance zone. So these are the things that we are able to treat today. So it is another way for you. This was interesting one. Breaking through the support, returning to hit the support line, and making this support to now be a new resistance. So this gives you a long trend, a long trade, a long trade when you are able to spot it on time. So this is some of the trend lines. How do you draw trend lines and the types of trend lines? Sideways, the downtrend, the uptrend. So these are some of the things that we cover, and I think what we cover today will really help you if you understand very well and you are ready to trade. So the thing is that you must know how to use this thing. So I should be able to tell to use them, or you choose at least two. That whenever you open your chart and see one or two of them, you know when you think the market should go, how to plot the channel line. So we talk about the candlestick, so different types of candlestick. So these are what we have covered today for those who have just joined in. And if lucky enough, everything is recorded by YouTube and you can still click and read further if you have missed period. So these are the things that we are able to talk. And as I've said earlier, this very one we are going to still treat them properly alongside the moving average and the rest. Thank you very much and God bless you. I sign out. Thank you. Give me glory to God.